Right in the heart of Arlington, under a cold November sky, they cuffed the tomb guard. Staff Sergeant John Kessler stood like stone as the MP snapped the handcuffs on his wrists, eyes locked forward. Not a flinch, not a word. The crowd at the tomb of the unknown soldier froze, phones half raised, whispers rippling like wildfire. Arresting a sentinel here, one tourist hissed. A kid tugged his mom's sleeve, confused. To them, Kessler was just a guy in a sharp uniform caught in some scandal they didn't understand. But what they didn't know, what nobody in that crowd could have guessed, was that this tomb bird had stopped a bloodbath with a single call 3 days ago. And the four-star general who'd ordered his arrest, striding toward the plaza with fury in his eyes, was about to learn he owed his life to the man he just put in chains. Before we dive into this story, where are you watching from? Let us know in the comments. And if you believe that values like honor, courage, and sacrifice still matter, join us in keeping their legacy alive. Picture this: a cold November afternoon at Arlington National Cemetery, Virginia. The kind of cold that seeps into your bones, makes your breath puff out in little clouds, and turns every sound razor sharp. The sky's a heavy gray, like it's carrying the weight of the stories buried in those endless rows of white headstones. At the tomb of the unknown soldier, a small crowd, maybe 50 people, huddles together wrapped in coats and scarves. Tourists, veterans, a high school history class, a couple of reporters with cameras slung around their necks. They're here to watch the changing of the guard, that solemn, perfect ritual where every step, every movement feels like a promise kept to those who never came home. The air hums with reverence, the kind you feel in your chest, not just here. But what they don't know, what none of them could have guessed, is that they're about to witness something that'll hit the front page of every news outlet by sundown. A moment that'll remind everyone what courage really looks like. The tomb of the unknown soldier sits elevated, its white marble glowing under the soft floodlights as the day fades. The Sentinel, Staff Sergeant John Kessler, moves with mechanical precision, 21 steps, a crisp turn, a pause, then 21 steps back. His polished boots click against the stone, each sound slicing through the silence. Kessler's 32, tall, broad-shouldered, with piercing blue eyes that seem to see everything and nothing at once. His uniform's immaculate, green coat pressed sharp enough to cut glass, white gloves, spotless rifle, balanced perfectly against his shoulder. To the crowd, he's a living statue, part of the ceremony that's been unbroken for decades, rain or shine, day or night. But Kessler is more than that. 3 tours in Afghanistan, 2 Bronze Stars, a man who's carried wounded comrades through hell and made calls that saved lives when the wrong movement meant body bags. His record's buried in classified files, but one line from his last evaluation sticks out. Kessler's instincts are a weapon as sharp as any rifle. Today, those instincts are about to change everything. The crowd watches, hushed. A mom whispers to her teenage son, explaining the ritual. See how he doesn't flinch? That's discipline. That's honor. Her kid nods, half listening, his phone half out, ready to snap a picture. Nearby, an older veteran, his jacket heavy with pins, stares at Kessler with something like recognition. He knows the look of a man who's seen war up close. A couple of tourists, probably from out of state, murmur about how cool it is to see this in person. It's like something out of a movie, one says. A reporter from NBC adjusts her camera, sensing a slow news day. But then, the atmosphere shifts. A ripple runs through the crowd as a group of men in crisp military uniforms approaches, their boots echoing louder than they should. At the center is General James T. Callahan, a 4-star general, a legend in the Pentagon. His face is all hard lines, his chest a mosaic of medals that tell a story of 30 years in command. He's here for a high-profile memorial event, one with foreign dignitaries and a tight schedule. But something's off. His jaw's tight, his eyes locked on Kessler. Callahan stops a few feet from the tomb, his entourage fanning out behind him. The crowd goes quiet, sensing something big. Even the wind seems to hold its breath. Callahan's voice cuts through the chill calm, but heavy with authority. Staff Sergeant Kessler, stand down. You're under arrest for insubordination and disruption of protocol." The words land like a grenade. The crowd gasps, a collective intake of a breath. A teenage girl tugs her dad's sleeve. "Dad, what's happening?" He shushes her, eyes wide. The veteran in the pin-covered jacket steps closer to the rope barrier, muttering, "This ain't right." Two MPs, their faces unreadable, step forward. One reaches for Kessler's rifle, sliding it from his shoulder with practiced ease. The other pulls out handcuffs, the metal glinting under the floodlights. Kessler doesn't move, doesn't blink. His posture's still perfect, like he's carved from the same marble as the tomb behind him. The cuffs click shut around his wrist, the sound sharp enough for a woman in the crowd to flinch. "They're arresting him right here," a tourist whispers, his phone already recording. "At the tomb? What the hell did he do?" The NBC reporter's camera is rolling now, her instincts screaming that this is no ordinary moment. A kid in the history class whispers to his friend, "This is going viral, man." From the back, a voice calls out, "Let him speak." It's the veteran, his face red with indignation. You don't cuff a sentinel at the tomb unless he's done something unforgivable. Callahan doesn't look at the crowd. His focus is on Kessler, who finally speaks, his voice low but steady, reaching every corner of the crowd. "This isn't about defiance, sir. It's about what I saw 3 days ago and what I saw 10 years ago in Afghanistan." Callahan's eyes sharpen, like he's sensing a memory he'd rather not revisit. The crowd leans in, phones forgotten, hanging on every word. "Helmand Province, 2016, Kessler begins. "You were a colonel then, sir, leading a high-level inspection of a forward base. No press, no fanfare, just a small convoy and a security team. I was on point running advanced recon. Halfway to the base, I spotted a local near the road, dressed like a farmer but moving wrong. Too tense, too aware. I radioed to halt the convoy and check him out. My CO told me to stand down, said we didn't have time, that your schedule was locked in. But I'd seen that posture before, in guys who didn't plan to walk away alive. So I made the call. I stopped the convoy in order to search." Kessler pauses, letting the silence build. "We found a vest under his jacket, wired with enough C4 to wipe out every vehicle in that line, including yours, sir. The incident was classified, buried under the Official Secrets Act. I was told to keep quiet, and I did, for 10 years, until 3 days ago." He shifts his weight, the cuffs clinking softly. "That man at the ceremony, the one I stopped, he wasn't just a tourist. He was checking his watch like he was counting seconds, carrying a bag that didn't match the manifest. I've seen that before in places where hesitation gets people killed. I radioed for a check, was told to stand down, to rotate off for the guard change. I refused. I stayed because I knew what was at stake. This tomb, this place, it's not just stone. It's a promise to every soldier who never came home. I couldn't let that promise be broken." The crowd's silent now, every word landing like a stone. A woman in the back wipes her eyes. The NBC reporter's camera is steady, but her hands shake slightly. Callahan's staring at Kessler, his face unreadable, but you can see the gears turning. He remembers that day in Helmand, the convoy that made it through because of a sergeant who wouldn't back down. Kessler's voice drops, but it carries. "After I stopped, that man's security found something in his bag, sir. An IED, enough to take out half this plaza. It was set to go off during your speech, right here at the tomb. If I'd rotated off, if I'd followed orders, we wouldn't be having this conversation." The crowd erupts, gasps, and murmurs, blending into a wave of sound. A kid in the back whispers to his mom, "He stopped a bomb." The veteran shouts, "Damn right he did." Callahan's silent, his eyes locked on Kessler. A security officer steps forward, his voice low but urgent. "General, he's telling the truth. We found traces of explosives in the bag. The suspect bolted when we approached, but we've got him in custody now. Intel saying it was a coordinated plot tied to an overseas cell." The crowd's buzzing now, phones back up, live streams flooding social media. A reporter mutters, "This is bigger than Watergate." Callahan's jaw works once, then twice. He steps closer to Kessler, his boots clicking on the stone. "You disobeyed a direct order," he says, his voice low but clear. "Twice. He pauses, and when he speaks again, there's something new in his tone. And both times, you saved my life. The crowd lets out a collective breath like they've been holding it for years. The mom in the crowd hugs her son, tears streaming. The veteran nods, his face grim but proud. Callahan turns to the MPs, release him. There's a moment's hesitation, protocol grinding against reality, but the cuffs come off. The sound's louder than when they went on, like a door slamming shut on a mistake. Kessler flexes his wrist, red marks visible where the metal bit in, then resumes his position, rifle back in his hands. Callahan addresses the crowd, his voice carrying the weight of command, but softened by something human.